Welcome back to the top six. Lots to delve into tonight. Has Frankie de Jong made his mind up permanently? The entourage have reportedly told Chelsea and Manchester United, as well as Barca, that he is not going to leave. Have both English clubs now been rejected? We're talking about that. Youri Tielemans' new price set at £25 million. So why have Arsenal Football Club not made their bid yet? We want your thoughts and we want your feelings on that. Gakpo updates, Milinkovic-Savic conversations as well. We're also going to take a look ahead of the weekend's football and preview the big up-and-coming games. Will Man United bounce back against the might of Ivan Toney and Brentford? And do Chelsea have enough firepower to beat Tottenham on Super Sunday? We want to hear from all of you on the show today. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing. And if we hit 1,250 likes, I'm going to give away 50 free memberships live tonight on the Terrace. But look at this panel. Look at this beautiful panel tonight. We're joined by the man with the HD camera now, the microphone now. It's Dom Hussam in the house, ready to go. Back by popular demand. He's feisty. He loves his club. It's Roy the boy with pictures of Jesus in the background. Hello, I just noticed that in the background. There's a little bit of Jesus there. Back in his club. This guy is very gassed about his team right now. Very, very gassed indeed. It's man like Patrick. There he is, ready to rep Tottenham Hotspur. What's that?
Hey, stop that. Stop that.
Also, back in the North London side tonight, Colleen is back with us. There we see the white goods in the background. I'm talking about the kettle there, people. Having a look around people's houses today. And of course, it wouldn't be the football terrace without the brilliant, without the emphatic, without the wonderful man like Neeks from Neeks Sports, back in the house, looking like a zebra crossing, wearing that Man United kit today. How are we all doing, people? We all good?
I'm all good, all good.
I'm fantastic, man. I feel good. I'm excited for Sunday, ready to give Chelsea a spanking. I'm ready.
That might get clipped, Patrick. Don't say too much, bro.
You've not beat him in the league since 2018.
Hey, Colleen, shush, chill.
Relax.
I was doing all right, and then I remembered I was actually obviously I wasn't on the terrace on Sunday because I didn't actually watch the game, so I only saw the highlights after, and it's only today where I actually watched the full game. So everything was going good until I actually sat down and watched the 90 minutes of the performance, and I was like, damn it, why did I put myself through it? But you know, I need to be knowledgeable before.
How many times did you have to stop watching, bro?
Oh, listen, I stopped it at regular intervals, as they say, regular intervals. I prefer to do my budget work.
I thought it was a great watch, to be fair.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it personally.
I enjoyed it, I don't know about everyone else, but I enjoyed it.
The first 10 minutes, I thought, oh, here we go, bit of pressing, nice
bit of 10 hard ball.
Like, what is everyone complaining about? We actually play. Oh, there we go.
It was absolutely awful. We're talking more about the Premier League games later today, but I want to start with, well, we'll come on to Frankie de Jong in a little bit. I wanted to speak Man United transfers for a moment because they're still dominating the headlines here. There's talk that available for 42 million pounds is Milinkovic-Savic. So my question is, and I want to go to you first on this, Neeks, why haven't they gone in for him? And should they be going in for Milinkovic-Savic at 42 million pounds and seemingly available, unlike Frankie de Jong?
The reality is, I said already, we go into this transfer market, we need two midfielders. So whatever other business the manager felt was a priority, whether that be right back, centre back, left back, goalkeeper, striker, what we needed was two midfielders. At this point, we haven't bought one. But why we haven't gone in for Milinkovic-Savic, I would say you have to put part of that down to the owners, in the sense that we know that our transfer targets, our transfer strategy was based around Frankie de Jong. So it took us long to actually make inroads into signings because we wanted to find out what price Frankie de Jong would be. And obviously from there, then you know how much you've got left, how much you can spend. If money wasn't an issue, and when you consider the amount of money Man United make, it shouldn't be an issue. If money wasn't an issue, we would have signed Sandro Martinez or Timber much earlier. We would have signed Malacia much earlier. we would have potentially already bought Anthony, because it wouldn't matter what price Barcelona set for Frankie de Jong. The reason why we're going in for people like Rabiot now, or Arnautovic as we were a day or two ago, is because those are cheap deals that don't affect potentially getting a Frankie de Jong or potentially getting Anthony. So the reason why we haven't gone in for Milinkovic-Savic, because if we go for Milinkovic-Savic, you're not getting Frankie de Jong. That deal is completely off, whether or not he says I want to join or not. So we shoot ourselves in the foot in two areas. One, because we put this budget that prevents us from strengthening in all the areas we need, and therefore we delay ourselves in transfers because the target we want eats into potentially half or 40% of our budget. And I think that's the only reason why we haven't gone for Savic, a Ruben Neves, but we're linked to a Tielemans for 25 million, a Rabiot for 15 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense to people. I mean, Milinkovic-Savic, is he Premier League quality, do people think? If you pick a man like him up for £42 million, how much is that going to improve a Man United midfield, a Chelsea midfield? I'm just throwing other teams out there in this as well, because £42 million seems fairly cheap for a player who's rated at his level. Or is he someone that's a bit of an overrated player? He's already in his late 20s. No massive club has picked him up yet. Is he someone that's maybe a little bit overrated?
I personally don't rate him that highly. I don't rate him that highly, Savic.
Why don't you rate him?
Well, let me get on to the point. If he goes into United's midfield, do you know what? Can it get any much worse than that? I feel like he already improves that kind of midfield. But in terms of the levels that I think United have the aspirations of becoming and being, I'm personally not too sure. I mean, I think it's a little bit underwhelming. I think it's one of those signings that it would improve United's midfield in this case. But I'd be interested to see how he goes along with Ten Hag. But I think even from a rival fan, and I imagine United fans would feel even more so, that when you've gone from the quality of like de Jong and then the possibility of, you know, a Savic and like maybe Rabiot, it does feel a little bit more underwhelming.
If we were serious, we get Savic and de Jong. Obviously, we're not in control about the de Jong saga, but that's what the target of Savic or a Neves shouldn't impact Ten Hag getting his primary target. The fact that we have to debate about, well, you know, if it's a come down from de Jong, no, it should be in addition to. That's the issue. Really.
It won't be, will it? It's not going to be.
No, it won't be. That's the issue.
That's the point, exactly.
I think
I like Savic personally. I like him.
I think he's a fantastic player. I think
I think
you're doing him a disservice, Clean. I think he's a really good footballer.
He's a very good footballer. If you ask the people who watch the Serie A, a lot of people
throwing shots. I like it.
Guys, who's throwing shots? I'm just saying, if you ask people who watch the Serie A religiously, they compare him to Nicolo Barella. They really like him. I like him personally.
Hold on.
I would take him at Liverpool. And the question is, does he improve Man United's midfield?
Back up for 2 seconds. I have a disagreeing opinion to you, man. Does not mean I don't watch other leagues.
Okay, hold on.
No one said that. No one said that.
One question.
No one said that. No one said that. Don't start.
Go on, finish.
Am I
I never said that.
Am I going to be able to finish my sentence at some point today?
Okay, but you interrupted me.
So, because you came out there trying to shoot a little shot and then you could walk away with it.
I didn't shoot a shot at all. I didn't. I was just speaking normally.
Fans saying that they've got no bloody midfield. They're fucking pensioners over there. That's why it's a rating. You take him in a heartbeat.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Okay. Roy, let me address it first. Can I address?
No. Can I finish? How many 90s did you watch of him? Just one question. Last season, how many? That's all I want to know. Just I just want to know how many games you're basing your opinion off.
Maybe what? 10? I want to say like 10 games I've seen of him.
You watched 10 Lazio games last season.
Was no one else watching the Serie A last season?
Hold on, okay. So just to make sure, you watched 10 full 90s last season of Milinkovic-Savic.
I would say a good 70.
Oh wait, sorry. But Roy, did you watch more than 10? Because I don't understand.
No. As in, like, I
Yes,
don't know. For you to not rate him.
So how many?
I don't see how you can.
Roy, for you to rate him, you have to have watched more than 10. So I'm not.
I've kept an eye on his games for years. I don't watch 15, 20 a season. I watch a few Lazio games every season. and I have seen him in Europe as well. But for you to not rate him,
let me just
I have you wondering how many games you'd watch, because you do the 1090 and not rating him highly.
Let me just jump in for a second. Are you suggesting, Roy, that Colleen doesn't watch Serie A and she's lying on camera right now?
No. My issue was she said she doesn't rate him that highly. So I just wanted to know how much of him did you watch to come to that opinion?
Am I not allowed to rate a player?
Oh my goodness.
Am I not allowed to rate a player?
No,
yes.
You could. No, you can. You can rate whoever you want. And then I just wanted to know how much. You'd watch to come to that opinion.
My opinion's now out with him.
Colleen, to be fair to all of us, Colleen, Roy has a better eye for talent than anyone.
Yeah, obviously it's that Tuchel idea over there. It's that Tuchel idea.
So Hussein was saying something.
Yeah.
Anyways, as I was saying, without sending any shots, I don't watch the Serie A religiously anyway. So who gives a shit if you watch it or not? Listen, speaking to fans who watch the Serie A, you get me, religiously, like Inter fans, like AC Milan fans, like Juventus fans, which no one here is. They really like Savic. I really like him from the few games I've watched. Troy, I've watched about 3 games. You get me? So, you know, I know you think I can't rate him, but I'm going to rate him anyway because my eye for talent is better than yours and better than Tuchel's. So when it comes to Milinkovic-Savic, I really like him. I think he improves Liverpool's midfield. I think he improves everyone's midfield in the league bar Manchester City, in my opinion. He's the only midfield he doesn't get in the league is Manchester City. I think he's a fantastic football player. And I think when it comes to Man United, looking at the game on the weekend, the reason why I'm not like fully depressed right now, I think he definitely improves Man United because here's the thing. With all due respect, like you're talking about McFred, like me and Patrick are a better partnership than McFred. So like it's not that deep getting.
Let's go.
It's not that deep getting someone to prove Man United, you know. So I really like him, and I think it's probably a blessing in disguise with the De Jong thing because we've been speaking about De Jong for 2 months now. Like honestly, like at a point in time, you've got to give up. Like it's just stop it. You know, it's just like in life. You know, if you ask someone the same question 5 times and he gives you the same answer, like. You just give up at a point in time. So for me personally, I think United should just move on from the whole De Jong situation. Savic is a fantastic signing. He improves them as well. Use that De Jong money, the money that you intend on spending on De Jong. Go get Savic with it. Get someone else alongside Savic or maybe improve another position. I think that probably make Man United better in the long run. So I think the thing is with Savic is as follows. I don't even think it's like a whole he's shit or he's amazing thing. I think for me with Savic, he's just a player that's probably been brought up like 3-4 years ago. And all of us subconsciously, just because he hasn't made a big move in 3-4 years, sort of look at it like, okay, like he was the big deal, like sort of 3-4 years ago. And he still is at the club he's at. So like, it's just, maybe it puts a bit of bias in us, but he's a quality player. He's a quality player.
Similar to the Koulibaly, and I'm not saying he was ever at the level that we rated Koulibaly, 3-4 years ago, but he was there. Everyone's like £100 million player, and then he never made a move. And as the years went by, you're like, maybe he's not good. And then he makes the move now, and I mean, it's one game, but no one's looking at it like it's a bad signing. Granted, it's half the price of.
Right, let's see what he does on Sunday. Let's see what he does against.
No, all I'm saying is, I'm saying, Jesus Christ, Patrick. I mean, I'm talking about Koulibaly, and you've already got to Spurs. But what I'm saying is, Savic was rated at 80 million a few years ago, and I think that's a lot for a player 2-3 years ago who was nowhere near proven, experienced enough, even in the Serie A. But at 40 million, that is in modern day standards. It's a risk worth taking because any transfer is a risk, especially when it comes from a league that they're not currently in. So for me, as I said, I would take Savic. And would I take it and ruin the De Jong? I hear what you're saying. De Jong's not coming. I was 9.5% sure 2 months ago, so I'm even less now because people say 95%. I was like, no, move the decimal place. It's not 95. But I would take Savic. I would take Savic.
My issue with Savic is
midfielder. Savic is not enough. You saw what happened on Sunday.
Yeah. No, go on, Roy. Go on.
I was just going to say, my issue with Savic is like, he's
that you haven't watched him for 10 games.
You guys need to chill, man. Look, all I'm going to say is, from what I've seen of him, his best position is the most attacking in a midfield trio, and United already have Bruno for that role, and they already have Eriksen in that role. And I don't think Milinkovic-Savic is a pure 10, and I don't think he's a pivot player. So if you were to buy him, I don't really see how he would fit, considering you've already got Bruno and Eriksen.
Double pivot, Troy, next to Fred.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that
I don't think he could, I
could
don't
work.
think he's a pivot player personally.
I think he has enough
Yeah,
quality.
but I'll be honest with you, this whole, again, I'll be honest with you, you're doing the tactical talk now. I think this whole pivot thing, you're just a midfielder. Like it, I don't understand this. Like people are, oh, this guy can't play in this, he can't play in that. There are roles. There's very few roles in the midfield. You're either an attacking midfielder, a defensive midfielder, or you're a box-to-box midfielder. You either play better on the left or on the right or more central. Like I don't think it's much more complicated than that. And you know, attacking midfielders, as long as they're not. The reason why some attacking midfielders struggle when they drop deeper is because they lack the discipline to maintain positional sense. There isn't that they can't play that position. It's I'm not going to run. You know, as an example, Bruno, he lacks discipline defensively. So you put him deeper, and he's going to make their mistake. That's not where he wants to be. I think Milinkovic-Savic could do a job for us.
I think he's a box midfielder. Like,
yeah, I think that's what he is. In terms of what I've seen, I haven't watched as many games as Colleen, to be fair. So
I've been 11, to be fair. So I'm one of.
I've only seen. See, I've seen 9. So I'm kind of around that. But I think it'd be a good signing for us. I'm at a point with Young now, but United have got to walk away from this for 2 big reasons. He's come out today. We're going to delve into De Jong, but we'll talk De Jong now. Actually, it makes the most perfect time. So. Essentially, everyone's been waiting all day because Ben Jacobs and other journalists have kind of said today was going to be the day that the final decision was kind of made. It's been reported from Samuel Marsden, a credible journalist, that Frankie's camp have made it clear again to Barca that they do not intend to leave. Now he has added the word "for now," and I think it's just all completely. When you look at the De Jong thing. I haven't changed my mind about this all summer. And every time we get new news, everyone goes, oh, we're going to find out. And then we end up getting the same answer. Because they're telling him they're not going to pay him his deferred wages, he's saying, I'm staying. They're clearly upset with Barca's treatment. If they offer him somewhere close to £17 million, I think he leaves. I think the reports that Man United and Chelsea have offered to pay it, I think they're wrong. I don't think predominantly that's come from Barca press. And I think Barca will always spin it that way if they end up paying. But Man United should walk away from this deal because even if he does decide to leave, he's picking Chelsea. So it's for us, it's almost a case of I don't know why Man United fans are waiting on this decision, waiting for him to pick. We should now be moving on because there's no way, in my opinion, that Man United have any chance of signing De Jong if Chelsea are as serious as they appear to be. They've got a better and more proven manager, a better squad, better run club, better league position. And they have as much money as us, and they're in the Champions League. So for me, you look at this news, we've got to move on, and we've got to move on now.
I'm not saying we shouldn't move on, but I should. I don't. For me, it's not a case of moving on because Chelsea's involved. I'm not scared of Chelsea in that sense. I'm not saying we are going to beat them to the race, but I'm not scared of Chelsea that once they get involved, let's move on. That's not my reason I will give for personally moving on. It's about getting a player in, and we're already delayed in that situation. I said this a few weeks ago. If we've been chasing De Jong for 2 months, knowing, or he's told us categorically, I'm not coming, then the issue of not getting De Jong is not Man United's biggest issue right now. It's that our manager is maybe deaf, maybe blind, or just completely incompetent, in the sense that De Jong said to him, I'm not coming. Which leads me to believe that De Jong never told him that he's not coming. Bro, there must have been a conversation.
Do you know what I think that is, though? Like when you're dating a girl that really likes you and you're like, come here, sweetheart. She's like, no, I don't want to come near you. Maybe that's... Do you know what I mean? No, don't touch me. Oh, as I'm leaning nearer to you. Maybe that's how Erik ten Hag read the signal. That De Jong was like, nah, bro, I just meant no. Like, I weren't even joking.
Well, as I said, well, then that is our problem. The midfield problem becomes secondary. Our manager is a blithering idiot. But I don't believe that De Jong said to him categorically, I'm not coming. However, it's interesting that we're in a situation now where De Jong and his camp have said again, well, obviously, De Jong mentioned it publicly a few months ago, and now we're hearing it through the press, that he does not want to leave Barcelona. So why are Chelsea chasing a player that does not want to come? Because this is the narrative I've heard for 2 weeks. So why are Chelsea not being dragged through the mud, social media, mainstream media, wherever it may be, because they're chasing a player who does not want to come, on top of a transfer window where they've been rejected from left, right, and centre? But it's only Man United where it's our issue. We become the issue. We're the problem because we chase a player who apparently doesn't want to come. But Chelsea are allowed to chase the same player who also doesn't want to join. I want to see the balance. Roy, talk to me. Where's the balance? I don't know.
Well, respectfully, you're just not where we are in the food chain at the moment. As in, we're currently above you in the food chain for a number of reasons. Firstly, if he does leave, he's coming to us, not you. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think
there's doubt.
I think it's a pretty clear choice.
There's doubt. Trust me.
Secondly, if you look at our midfield, we need him less than you do. So if we lose out on him, it's he's a luxury player, whereas or the player that you had to sign.
What? Wait, stop. Hold up. Wait.
It's true. We need him less than
what
you.
I've heard from Chelsea fans is about how bad your midfield is. You're attacking.
You haven't heard from me because I don't know what Chelsea fans you've been talking to.
Was it on Monday?
I think our midfield is.
Monster was in there ripping into your midfield. Monster was ripping into your midfield on Monday.
You weren't talking to the ones the ones who know serious ball. You're talking to one who knows serious ball now. Our midfield is calm.
Monster knows ball.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Me and Monster disagree on this, so we'll just sit on the opposite sides of the fence. But like, we still look. My point is, we need him less than you do. Also, we've been ridiculed all summer for chasing players that didn't want to come to us. So realistically, it gets to a point where you know what? Hold on, Terry.
I'm not letting you finish. I'm not letting you finish because you're doing it. You're doing a gal. You're doing a Matt Hancock. You're deflecting. The question is, why were Man United criticised from day one for going after a player who would prefer to stay at Barca? Why is it okay for any other club not to do it? We all know what the answer is. The answer is because it was a fault. It was a bit of banter that people made up. But when it's Man United, banter gets turned into serious football conversation. Clubs chase players all the time.
Why are you guys so triggered, man?
But it's not about
this is a good sign. It just shows you're bigger than Chelsea.
No, that's the reality.
We know it.
Yeah, it's still above you in the food chain at the moment.
Yeah, you're above them in the food chain, but Man United, they're just a bigger draw when it comes to media. It's not that deep, to be honest with you. I think with the Frankie situation, the United thing, because United are an easy target. You get me? Europa League, they've been through their 17th manager in 5 years, blah, blah, blah. Scott McTominay, Fred, Maguire. It's just how it goes. It's just, with all due respect, Man United are just a joking matter at this point in time. They're not a serious football club, so they're an easy target. It's just easy target, As soon as anyone's linked to United, the jokes start. Where's he gonna play? Blah blah blah. And you should just laugh it off, man. Just laugh it off. You are us 15 years ago. Enjoy your Soterios Kyriakos era. You get me? So it's gonna be a long day for you guys.
The hypocrisy.
Listen,
it is hypocritical. It is.
I've even said on the show like weeks ago that United should probably walk away. But the longer this goes on and Chelsea getting involved, it makes me think someone knows something. There's something else going on because you surely, if I'm thinking from Man United, surely, unless it's a next level incompetence, and I mean brand new levels for United, you don't stay in a deal like this for so long. And I know there's a talk about the wages, but it's very simple. If he doesn't want to come, the wages are irrelevant. It's like, listen, whether it gets solved or not, I'm not coming to United. You walk away. And that's I think for United's sake, I don't know what has been said to keep them in there. But from a fan perspective, you're like, just walk away, get another target. We've lost our opening game. The transfer window shuts in 3 weeks today. And it just all becomes more tense. But I do think there's more going on because then why is Chelsea getting involved? Do you know what I mean? It just feels a bit.
I was saying a couple of weeks ago, and I think I said it in the group chat a couple of days ago. Obviously, as a Man United fan, I want Frankie de Jong, but I kind of want to see what happens if he stays. And Barca deserve him to stay, and they have to pay him everything, and they can't register their players. I know it affects us. We end up, finishing 8th. But
it's not that deep. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
He's spitting facts. I want to see Barca go into turmoil.
Listen, they're crook.
Yeah, they've taken the piss. They are fully taking the piss.
Every day, man. Hate that club.
Why do you hate
I'm
them,
the
man?
only club here that Barca ain't dunked on. You get me? So
Yeah, why do you hate them,
would
Roy?
share
Being
the
a Chelsea
same
fan,
hatred
Again,
why?
because they robbed us in 2009. Like
Patrick, I know
they've
you're
been
the same
poaching
as
all
well.
our transfer targets.
Oh yeah,
Like,
of course, yeah. They stole about
Like,
10
yeah.
guys from you.
There's so much history here. There's the Arshavin game. There's the 2 finals. There's this guy right here who got robbed by them. So
Just
for
keeping
me,
it
I'm just good.
on De Jong for a moment, Roy. Like, all banter aside, do you feel like this is a player that you should keep chasing, or should your focus go elsewhere? Because I mean, you're getting the same answers that Man United have been getting. Of almost the player would be happy to join, but he doesn't want to leave. It's almost, and I think most people are reading between. Again, rivals will say he's just rejecting you, but we all know the truth. He's saying no to leaving because he wants this 17 million quid. And what do you think Chelsea should do, in your opinion? Because it's a lot of money. You're seemingly willing to pay 80 million euros. You're clearly going to be paying him anywhere between 250 and 350 a week in wages. That's a huge investment in another player elsewhere. Like, what would you rather see Chelsea do?
Well, as in, I would understood if we walk away, because like it gets to a point where you're just making yourself look silly. Like you basically the girl you like is at another guy's house. You're just waiting outside, hoping that like you might get a chance. So that's basically what us and United are doing at the moment. So whilst I'd understand if we walk away, I just feel like surely it can't just end with him staying. Like, I've forgotten which one of you guys said it, but yeah, it was Colleen that said it. Like, surely something else is gonna happen where like he might eventually leave, because Barca, I feel like they'll either sue him, they'll force him out, they'll hound him out, they'll do something to get him to go. So it makes me think, if we're just patient, we can get him. But also, like, if we want De Jong, that clearly means we want a midfielder. And like I said to United when I was on the show a few weeks ago, the longer you wait, the more expensive your targets become, because you have less time to replace them, and the season's already started. So clubs don't want to be losing some of their best midfielders.
No, I totally agree. We do have some breaking news that we want to go to now, people. This has come from Julian Laurent and Lequip, who were 3 months earlier than anybody else in breaking Poch being sacked, by the way. They say that PSG have made contact with Marcus Rashford's camp. Talks are progressing positively. His contract runs out in 2023, and Paris are ready to give him an opportunity to relaunch his career. Should Man United, if true, sell him?
Yes, give him away for free. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity that isn't going to come back at all. We all have been watching Marcus Rashford for the last 3 years. Let's cut the crap. He ain't that guy. PSG are interested. Just get as much money as possible and just send them to Paris, so you can all move on collectively. You get me? So it's just I would sell so fast as soon as I pick up that phone call. It'd be like, how much are you willing to offer? Boom, I'd sell happily, because I don't think he has a future at Man United.
Yeah, fresh start for both parties. I think it's a good time for Marcus Rashford to like it says, reinvigorate his career. He's been a sleeping giant. He's literally been sleepwalking for the last 3 years. He was my favorite player in a United shirt a couple of years ago. He was so good. And now he's awful. He's a bum. He's literally going down the same route Dele Alli's going down. Soon he'll be wearing handbags and painting his nails if he's not careful. He really needs to be careful. So yeah, it's time for him to
living with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, eh? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't sell if I was United. I would, because my issue with Rashford is I feel like we've seen what he can do at his best. We've seen that he's a capable goal scorer, and he was a very good player like a few years ago. And my issue with a lot of United players is that they haven't been properly coached or been playing in a disciplined system with proper structure since Mourinho left. Because Oli wasn't really doing that, and neither was Ranić. So I think, then if I was United, I would say 1 more year under Ten Hag. And if Ten Hag, who's a proven coach who has made a lot of quality players, as we saw from his time as Ajax, if Ten Hag can't get a tune out of him, since he's probably going to be the long-term manager, then I would just ship him.
Yeah, but that's the point, Roy. Roy, just to interject, 1 more year means he walks on a free if he's not doing well.
No,
that's the whole point.
I'm expecting that we've got an option.
Yeah, Man United have an option that they have.
Yeah, I would think they'd have
they put that in every deal. So there's 2 years remaining essentially.
Fair enough.
Contract.
And that's why I'm on Roy's flex, in that I've said for a while, pretty much since we knew that we we're going to get a new manager this season. This is the year, right? It's make or break for his Man United.
It's audition time for a lot of players,
but it's make or break. if he has a season anywhere like he's been for the last 18 months, I don't know where you're not getting this 3 years thing.
Yeah, 3 years is a stretch.
literally 2 years ago.
In the lockdown, he was balling.
Season when him and Martial got 22, 23 goals in the season. So like, relax. But 18 months has been dreadful. And if he has anything like the last 18 months this year under Ten Hag, then you have to sell him next summer. Get as much money as you can out of PSG. But I think to sell him now, considering what we've seen from him and what we're trying to build with Ten Hag, it could be a rash decision. Excuse the pun.
I like it.
Have you not seen enough evidence, though?
Considering that he came from our academy, that is a slap in the face if he goes to PSG and bangs. I'm not saying he's ever going to be Mbappe.
But he will bang in PSG.
Yeah,
but that's not because he's amazing, because PSG dominate that league. He's going to bang. He's going to score 15 goals minimum. I mean, easy.
Yeah, but
15 goals for PSG, I wouldn't class that as banging anyway.
That becomes a counter argument. I mean, so if he's a team that's dominant and brilliant, then you'll see a better him. I honestly believe if you put Mo Salah in this Man United team in 2 years, he'd look like the rest of our attackers. I believe that.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, but we know that because Paul Pogba outside of Man United before he joined.
Had Salah doing the league.
Sorry, guys. Let me just finish, please. Like when Paul Pogba isn't in the Man United kit, he looks very, very good indeed. Look how many players we've signed, and there's been an excitement and a fanfare because of what they've been doing at their previous club. And look at their regression at Man United. In fact, every single player we have signed, every single one of them that we've signed in the last 9 years has regressed from their previous form at their previous club. Morgan Schneiderlin was a midfield player that lots of top clubs wanted. He was being spoken about as a future star, fell away from things. Arsenal, with their balling potential under Arsene Wenger, wanted Fellaini for 2 or 3 years before he joined Manchester United. Bruno came in. Bruno's the only one who came in and maintained. He's gone backwards now. This is the guy scoring and assisting 50, 60 goals a year. Marcus Rashford leaving, I've got 2 trains of thought on this. First one is, I've said all summer, we need a sacrificial sale. We need someone that's despised by a large amount of the fan base to go to almost kind of make people feel better. You know, sometimes you get these kind of gestures that get done. So I think there's an element of where it will relieve fan annoyance. It's like, good, someone we want out is gone. There's another part of me, though, that agrees 100% with Neeks. He goes to someone like PSG, he finds his feet, and he does what a lot of our players have done after leaving. With Chris Smalling being in Team of the Year in Serie A as an example. Man United fans at the moment, a lot of them would sell their grandmothers to get Memphis back at the football club, a player they hounded out in exactly the same way they want Marcus Rashford to be gone right now. What's going to happen when Marcus Rashford leaves, if he goes to a club like that, is he is going to be reignited, reinvigorated, and he's going to start scoring goals. He's going to look good again. And then what you'll get is the same people that are saying he's Trashford, no tech, rubbish. They'll be using Rashford as a stick to beat the club with, when again, they're the mushrooms, because they'll be the same mushrooms that they'll be moaning about the outcome of what they've been asking for. For me, I'm 50-50 with it. And that isn't me sitting on the fence. I see the pros and cons both sides. Everybody knows I think there's a player inside Marcus Rashford. However, I do think with fan pressure, the bad form of the last 18 months, I am in a point where the only way I think he may improve is by leaving. It all depends on how much money they offer us and if we can reinvest it in the right footballer. So, for instance, if we got £50 million, and I'm just throwing that number out there, and that meant we could sign Gakpo and Anthony, then I'm all for it. If we get rid of Marcus Rashford and the replacement is gonna be Shaqiri on loan, I don't want it. Do you know what I mean? We've been looking at players like that recently, so I think it's really up and down.
No, we'll go back in for Arnautovic with the double.
Can you imagine? Oh my!
The reality is the fact that there is a player in there. Whatever that player is, whatever level you think he is, there is a good player in there that we've seen that we haven't seen for the last 18 months. And the reasoning behind that, whichever way you want to look at it, I've seen the comments already. People like 50 million, I'll take it. 60, 70 million, I'll take it. You're rating him at 50, 60, 70 million, the same price that we are people are asking for the likes of Anthony, for example. There's other players at Man United that we want to sell. Eric Bailly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, obviously Terrace we were trying to get rid of. And there's been others I wouldn't say Man United are trying to sell. I'm talking about the club trying to sell.
They should be.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying they're not. But I'm talking about those players specifically because they're still here with nobody being linked to buying them. Which then you say, maybe there's no player in them. The fact that a club like PSG, granted the league is easy, but they are still a club who are trying to achieve big things, are even looking at a player like Marcus Rashford suggests that there is a player in there that they feel they can get the best out of. It's like people say Man United is dead, yet top managers want to join Man United because they feel that there's a club there that can be revived.
You lot are sleeping giant.
Yeah,
you lot are
if the club was
sleeping giant.
completely dead, or if Marcus Rashford's career was completely finished, then everyone would be like, well, I wouldn't pay a penny for him. I'll wait for his contract to run out because he ain't going to prove anything in the next 2 years anyway, and we can get him for free because,
Also, if they're quoting Rashford at 50 million, 60, 70 million, that means they think he's that good. Because if they wouldn't say 50 million, they would say like 30 million. Well, so if you're in prices of 60 million, they must rate him then.
Well, we're trying to sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka for 20, 30 million. No one's
exactly.
Well, this is where you're in a situation where you have to look at it from the point of view of, I don't think it's about how good or bad he is. Ten Hag has to make the decision: can he be revived here? You look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang that's linked to Chelsea. I kind of get Gunners like, he's on the decline. He wasn't doing well for us. He won't make it in the Premier League if he returns. But he's done very well at Barca since he's been there. I think it's 11 league goals in 17 league games, which is not a bad return for in the second hardest league in the world for a 32, 33-year-old. I think that sometimes what is the expression? A change is as good as a rest, and maybe that the different type of pressure the fans on these. If he goes to PSG, the fans will be on his side. He'll, maybe he can revitalize himself. But what you will see happen again if Rashford, you're already going to see it, by the way. The people that hate Rashford are not going to even get involved in this debate. They're going to say, I haven't seen one tweet yet, but go to their pages and check their tweets, especially you, Hassam, the king of spaces. They're all going to say, don't believe the links. This will be PR from Rashford's team because they don't want to believe that another big club wants him. And if he does go and he starts scoring, those same mushrooms will turn around and say, yeah, but League aren't tax. Yeah, if someone like me turns around and says, I don't think we can call Mbappe the best in the world until he's doing it outside of League R, they'll say, how dare you disrespect that league? That's the kind of chopping and changing you'll see from people on this, because that's just, maybe it's just football banter. It's a bit boring to me. Guys, I want to go through some super chats before we move on to Arsenal and look at these previews. First one here says, Terry, why is supporting Man United so depressing? The Rashford news broke my heart. I hope he leaves this toxic football club and reaches his potential. As a Milan fan, Savic is way better than Tielemans and De Jong, and Savic are different types of players. Savic joining will make Arsenal's midfield the worst. The worst to play against? If you think he's better than...
Yeah, I think he would slot straight into Xhaka's role.
I hear that. Terry and the gang, two things. I've lost 33 pounds in total. My eating healthy carbs and lots of fiber, which is good for your system. It definitely is. Keeps you regular.
Well done, bro. Well done.
Also, if Barca can't get all the signings registered by Saturday, by law, have to be sold. Well, that kind of goes into what Roy was saying. Let De Jong stay and cause havoc. It'll be funny to watch. Thank you, GK, for the super chat. Colleen, interested in doing any hand modeling?
No, I run Terry's OnlyFans. That's as far as we go.
That's so random.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what the follow-up joke, the punchline is. Rashford leaving would be much needed sacrifice to show no one is above the club. It's a small step in the right direction. I think that's a fair point, whether you agree with it or not. Watch Barca keep De Jong and sign Bernardo Silva and register them. You heard it here first. Laporta is on a madness. I swear we're going to see Barca on. You remember that show that Ruddock was on, that can't pay, we'll take it away? Like, the bailiff's kind of turning up and being like, it's all got to go. Here we go. Without even knowing, this is PR from Rashford to get a new contract. Man United will give him a new contract, and then Man United will actually want to sell. Like, you do realize it would take Man United one phone call to speak to PSG to find out if this story is true or not. Like, and if they go no interest and they don't show, like, if PSG show no interest in Marcus Rashford to Man United, they'll know it's nonsense. Like, come on, this is where like people come out with this. I don't know what content creator has said it's PR. It'll be a popular one, and everyone goes, "Oh, it must be true because he said it."
I'm interested though, because remember this report, or a report like this came out back in like February, March about Rashford going to PSG. So I'm just wondering, like, is this new conversations, or was the old one just rumors at the time?
I think it was maybe as an Mbappe replacement, because obviously at that time he was rumored to be going to Real Madrid in the summer.
Yeah, and maybe Mbappe
wants to play with him.
Well, yeah,
It's true. We've seen a picture of those two at the Parc des Princes after Rashford knocked him out. Maybe he's thinking I need to team up because I can't beat this guy.
United fans need to get away from sentiment and let Rashi go. He's bang average at best. I read it in the comment section, not on the screen, and KJ deletes it before I finish reading, and then I have to keep reading. That's to change. Sorry. Average at best, and has been hyped up because he's from the academy. The things he did last season on the pitch is unforgivable.
What did tell everyone, because he was no better or worse than the majority of the
players. He was on the worst list. Come on, man. Let's be honest.
Hussam, they were all bad.
He was like one of the bad ones. Come on, let's be real.
All right, name the ones who were good.
No, that's not the question.
No,
there's levels to being bad. There's levels to being bad. Neeks, there's levels to being bad, my bro. If you punch Patrick and you go to jail, that's not the same as killing him. It's different, bro. There's levels to being a bad person.
Why me?
There's levels to being a bad player.
Name the players.
There's like McTominay. Then there's like, like Luke Shaw. You get me? Like Luke Shaw wasn't as bad as the rest. As an example.
No, but he was. They were terrible.
No. Rashford was on the terrible list. Listen, if Rashford don't make this PSG move thing, it just smells of Rashford. Welcome to Everton. It's gonna happen. It's just how it goes. In 2 years,
he'll be joining with Dele Ali. 100%.
It smells like Dele Ali. You get me? The other guy, Michael Keane. Many players. Yeah. Everton just do that.
Handbags and nail polish coming soon. You watch it.
DCL, man. Shut up, DCL.
This comment is for me. It says, please don't call others mushrooms, Mr. I need fame and attention. Instead of doing what is right and having patience and tolerance, zero self-realization. Well, not really. All I'm complaining about at Man United is the same things I've been complaining about for 9 years. And I saw you call me out the other day on Twitter, Nabil, because you said, why? I put a tweet out where I said, I'm not going to start congratulating the media and pundits and fans that are now jumping on the Glazer bandwagon because I wrote 13 instead of 17 because I hit the wrong button, but because they're 17 years too late. On a social media point of view, they're 9 years too late. These were the outlets that called Man United fans spoilt brats for wanting the club to be run better. And still now you get rival fans say, well, they spend lots of money, they're good owners. We never even moaned about how much money they didn't spend. It's what they've taken out the club and how poorly they run it. So, Nabil, I don't need fame and I don't need attention. It's not my fault. I get a lot more than you, especially from your bird. But anyway, we'll move on from that, Nabil. I'm only joking, my old mate. We have a little bit of banter, me and Nabil. It is what it is. I want to, before we move on to the preview side of things, there is another story today which is interesting to me. There's away from Man United. I want to speak about this. Youri Tielemans. A comment here from Sam Collins, a very credible journalist, has said that Tielemans has no plans to extend his to sign a contract extension. They are open to Leicester are open to let him go for a fee in the region of 25 million. Arsenal still want more this summer. But it's unlikely they will sign both a midfielder and a winger. Colleen, what should the priority be? And do you feel like you're being lied to slightly? Because the narrative was that you were going to sign a winger and a midfielder. You were just waiting until the price dropped or waiting until later on in the summer because you already had Tielemans in the bag. Now the story seems to be slightly changing to you can only get one. Tielemans or a winger? And do you feel slightly lied to?
I mean, for me, I'd want a winger over a midfielder,
really?
But that's only because situations have changed since the beginning of the season when we made these targets. And there's another, I'll get onto like another reason why shortly, but it kind of links again to a similar reason that Neeks spoke about in terms of United. Obviously, earlier we put on, we had an interest in Rafinha, and obviously we had X amount of money allocated that we were going to splash there. And I was always feeling, Tielemans in particular, I didn't feel like that one was going to happen, or if it was going to happen at the end of the window. Once we had spread the majority of our money, seeing what we had left and right, seeing what we can spend with Leicester and Tielemans, because obviously we know his situation that he's in 1 year left, he's not going to extend. With that being said, things also changed when we signed Zinchenko instead of Martins. We all know that Zinchenko can play left back and in midfield. So if you're Arteta and you have to pick one, you've already picked a player, you've already brought in a player that can play in the midfield at least, not a winger, but at least can play in the midfield, then okay, if we have to pick between the two, I'm going to have to ask for a winger. But I don't necessarily feel lied to be honest with you. It's kind of swings and roundabouts in the in the transfer window, Terry. Like we all know how it goes. Scenarios change, things change. I think with Tielemans, whoever
Colleen,
gets him will be to last week. of the
Colleen,
window.
quick question. Have you ever seen Zinchenko playing in midfield in the Premier League?
He has
For
a similar
10 games.
he has a similar from what I recall, he has a similar kind of when you see his heat map and the way he plays, it's very similar to Xhaka. So that's where I would see him if he would that kind of role if he was being on midfield.
You're saying about a midfield. I've never seen Zinchenko play in the midfield. So yes,
He's for Ukraine.
Yeah,
only for Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly, for Ukraine, but not in the Premier League. So I don't know about you saying he can play in midfield. He's unproven. He's not really played there. So
he can play in midfield. He can play in midfield.
Why I would prioritize as a winger is that if you put Zinchenko in midfield,
stop it.
If you put Zinchenko in midfield, we've seen that Arteta does like to use inverted wing backs, and I think Zinchenko is a lot better and more comfortable in that role than Tierney is. So you're sort of taking away one of your inverted wing backs when you could just buy a midfielder, and you've got Saka Pepe on the right, Martinelli, ESR on the left. So like, I
hear you, but I personally think when Tierney's fit at the moment, he still starts as a left back as a starting left back. Whether you agree or not agree, I think that's just the case. Whether I agree or not, I think that is the case. I think Arteta rates Tierney very highly, and I think that's the case. That's it.
Surprised.
I'm surprised as well. I thought you'd say midfield, to be honest.
No, you know what? I'm surprised because
no, not Tierney. I meant like you'd sign one to midfielder.
I would rather a winger.
Replace Martinez, who was your priority defensive signing. So was he? But is Zinchenko a backup or is he? I'm confused by that state. I'm shocked that you think that Tierney will start over him. I
think in terms of the way the scenario in this scenario of where we can only buy a winger or a midfielder, I'm thinking we've got Zinchenko who can play in the midfield, so therefore I'm gonna buy a winger because we need a winger. Saka can't do it all on his own. He needs competition. There's like no one.
£2 million Pepe.
Listen, listen. You can throw that out there. He's just not good enough. It just is what it is. It hasn't worked, and everyone knows that. It's not a secret. But I'm talking about in the scenario that's been presented, where we only get one of them, where we brought in a player who can play there. Whether I would like someone superior there is irrelevant. If I have to pick between the two, that is my priority. Because if Saka gets an injury, then or if he doesn't perform, and even now we still want him to go up another level. He needs competition.
Not gonna lie, I'm not buying into this Arsenal hype. I'm still not bought in. I just don't see anything special happening. I swear to God, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm just being honest. I just don't see it. I swear, I actually don't. I think Zinchenko. One sec. Calm down. I think Zinchenko and Jesus are good signings, but they're literally a Jesus injury away from Nketiah starting up front. So like, I just don't buy into Arsenal. Like the concept, I just don't buy into it because I think Arsenal Football Club going around, like they've just won the transfer window and done this incredible shit. I'm just not bought into it. I still don't think they're going to finish in the top 4, even with the signings they made. I think they have improved, but I have not seen enough improvement for them to go to the next level now. Like I'm not looking at Arsenal as like,
bro, you've only watched one game with them.
and you've watched 10? Sorry.
I've watched enough Arsenal, like 25 games.
One game.
Yeah. And I've watched that one game and my mind still ain't changed. It's just you've won one game. Congratulations, clean sheet. Saliba man of the match.
But based on the point that you've made around everyone that we brought in, and you still don't think anything's changed.
No, I said I like Jesus and I like Zinchenko. I like them both.
Do you know what
I've just not bought into the hype. Like I don't think this is gonna propel you to 4th place at all.
Do you know what I find interesting about this? And I know there's a debate about where Arsenal are going to come and finish. Just on this transfer very quickly. This is why I always say to fans, like, don't just get suckered in by what you're told at every step. Like, remember things. When they first said they called in the interest on Tielemans, it's because we've got him in the bag. And we've got to go after a winger and we're going to go after a defender because, like, there's competition for those players. So you went for Rafinha and you went for Martinez first and ended up with Zinchenko. But if you turn around to any Arsenal fans at that point and said, "Do you think like you'll come back? Do you really think you're going to come back for Tielemans later?" Of course we are. It's what I think it was Charles Watts. It's what Charles Watts said they all towed the party line. Then a few weeks went by and Rafinha didn't happen. No bids for any other wingers. You ended up with a cheaper option as a defender than Lisandro Martinez would have cost you. It's like, well, why haven't you bought Tielemans yet? Why haven't you bought Tielemans yet? Why haven't you bought Tielemans yet? Man United are interested, still no bid for Tielemans. Oh, no, we've got to clear players out first. And then he'll come in. Now it's starting to change to where it can only buy one more player, a winger or a midfielder. That for me still, when you're an Arsenal football club and you're trying to get yourselves back to the peak of your powers, that for me would be frustrating. That for me would, because you've and I understand things change.
I never believed Tielemans was coming. I was never.
And that's yeah, it's just more on the fans that believe. Again, if you're someone that believes like it's fluid and it can change, and I didn't think when we called their interest we were going to get him, but it's the people that have pushed that club PR narrative the whole time. We will go back, because I said at the time, calling your interests like because you've got him in the bag is a weird strategy in case somebody else gets involved. I don't know, player like starts training with a different club in a different way, picks up an injury that he might not have got at York. All these things sound weird to me. So I just want to know how Arsenal fans feel. Actually, I'm not asking how Arsenal fans feel about it. How are you going to spin it? That's what I'm intrigued to know. What you're going to tweet to not make it sound like a disaster. That's what I find. Arsenal fans are probably the best in the world at the minute at going, right, how do we make this situation look good? It's brilliant to see. It really, really is. But in terms of top four, I disagree with you, Sam. They're coming third this year. They're finishing in front of Chelsea and
No,
Spurs.
they won't.
Wow, there's no chance on that.
No,
one.
they
No
won't.
chance they come
Terry, you
third.
see, your Tottenham stuff. You know why your Tottenham stuff don't add up? Because Tottenham got a better manager and a better starting 11 and more world-class players and a better home atmosphere. Everything is just in Spurs' favor. But yet Arsenal are supposed to like finish third. And you know, I've got Arsenal fans in my DMs. Oh my God, you should watch your back, or some. We're coming for Liverpool. We're gonna challenge for the title. Blah blah. All of this crazy shit they say. I know Colleen ain't said any of that stuff.
You should watch your back a little bit. I don't know.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Colleen, let me explain something.
I don't know.
As a Liverpool fan, the last club I'm worried about on earth is the Arsenal Football Club. The aggregate scoreline in the last 4 years between us is like 67-2. Like it's mad.
Sorry, I only
5-0,
remember
5-0,
things.
4-0. I ain't worried about Arsenal.
Sam, can I ask you a question? Anytime in the last, at any point in the last 6 years, has Man United been a better team, better run, played better football than Liverpool?
5 years? No.
No, but we've finished in front of you in the league twice.
Yes.
In that time. The point I'm making is the way everybody's predicted. The only reason one of the main reasons I'm predicting Arsenal as my pick to come third is the way everybody's predicting the league to finish is how it should finish. And in my lifetime of watching this league, I can't remember the last time the league finished how we all said it should. That's why for me, it's everybody's picks are just easy.
So you're going off unpredictability.
No, I'm going off how football actually is. When people predicted the Euros, France to win, I'm like, why are you being so weak and just picking France? Like maybe you believe it, but maybe I'm just thinking you're going with they've got like a 70% chance. There's like people that predict the obvious outcome of games. They have a high win. They have a higher success rate because they just predict the easy thing.
But Terry,
I think they're guessing.
But Terry, if your prediction was there's a difference between predicting Arsenal finish third and predicting that something strange will happen. It's like, for example, you know, you got all the big six.
Arsenal finishing third is strange to happen.
Well, no. What I'm saying as a entirety. So if you had a big six on the weekend and you're like, it's very rare that every one of the big six win their games. But if the first 5 win their games and Man City's playing Bournemouth, by logic, you're going to predict Man City to lose because the big six don't win. But it's still unsubstantiated prediction because Man City should not lose to Bournemouth.
I get that in a singular round of games. But what I'm talking about...
No, but it's the same concept. You're predicting...
Hang on, though. But let me explain it. There's more in it than that. I think Arsenal are going to be a lot better than people are predicting. In the same way, if you go back to the summer of 2018, after Liverpool finished, I want to say Liverpool finished 5th. It might have been 4th in the 17-18 season. I think it might have, I'm just checking out. It was 4th. And they finished 25 points behind Man City. I sat in a room. You may have been there on that day. We were recording previews for each of the top 6 teams in the UFF studios. And I said, I think Liverpool are going to challenge for the title this year, maybe even win it. Everybody said what you guys are saying to me now about Arsenal progressing this season. They all said, no way, Terry. They can't make up the 25 points. There's no way they're going to go from being that far away from Man City to catching them. And they did. Now, I'm not suggesting Arsenal are going to win the league. I just think Arsenal are going to be a little bit better than everybody expects. And I think Tottenham and Chelsea, Tottenham especially, are not quite going to be as good as everybody's predicting. If you actually go into detail of where I'm talking 3 or 4 points between all of them in that area. I'm not talking Arsenal finishing 10, 12 points in front of Chelsea, in front of Spurs. I don't think it's an outrageous claim to say I think Arsenal are going to be a bit better than everyone predicts, and Spurs not quite as good and consistent as everybody thinks. I don't think that's based on.
Terry, the outrageous part is you having Spurs outside the top 4. That's the outrageous part.
Well, that's because I think Chelsea,
I hear everything you're saying.
Yeah,
I hear everything you're saying, and it's not like you're saying something illogical. But my thing is, even when you look at depth, for example, would you be more confident going into a Premier League game with Richarlison as your striker, or Nketiah as your striker? Like even when it comes to depth and like sort of and plus, Terry, will Arsenal be better? Yes. Agreed completely. Now we've got to factor in Europa League football. We've got to factor in injuries. We've got to factor in squad depth. We've got to factor in so much different stuff. Like the Arsenal puzzle is not solved with Zinchenko and Jesus. Now, okay, that's it. Now we've solved the puzzle. That's not how it goes. Yes, they have youngsters that are going to improve, blah, blah, blah. There's so much great stuff going on. But in like genuinely 1 or 2 things go wrong, and that whole Arsenal stuff is boom. Destroyed immediately.
What Arsenal girl broke your heart? Because you're doing a lot of monologues.
I've never dated any Arsenal fan. Don't plan on doing so either, because they need too much emotional support.
The last thing I'm going to say on it is this: when the irony, because I'm talking about a different team that I'm now saying won't finish in the top 4. When I sat on this show last year and said when Conte signed, Spurs are making top 4, people said I was crazy. No. Everything you just said to me in terms of the way you're kind of debunking is the same. I just find that people far too often just predict the most realistic or simplistic outcome, and football and sport has proven to us over the years that just isn't the case. And my feeling is just that that's where there'll be a kind of turnaround this year. There'll be 1 or 2 others in the league things that you don't expect to happen. But look, I think Arsenal are in a good space, but I would be disappointed as a Gooner if they only end up with a winger or a midfielder. They should be buying both between now and the end. They've got the money. They've said they've got the money. You should be, the fact that you agreed to deal with Youri Tielemans a year ago, that player should be in your team. You add Youri Tielemans and I'm just going to throw Neto or Gakpo's name out there, and Arsenal can really be a dangerous threat.
Rashford's available apparently, so
okay, maybe.
Get in line.
We'll nurse him back to health. I'll tell you now.
A big game of the weekend, a big game this weekend, Chelsea versus Tottenham. The question I want to ask is, do Chelsea have enough firepower to beat Tottenham? Can they score the goals needed at Stamford Bridge to beat Tottenham? Or are we going to see this Tottenham team under Conte cook this underprepared Chelsea? And I'm going by narratives here. People are saying Chelsea are underprepared and not ready. Are Spurs going to cook them, or did Chelsea have enough?
Yeah, listen, this is the perfect time to play Chelsea. When I saw that fixture list and I saw Chelsea's second game of the season, I was rubbing my hands together and I was like, let's go. This is the best time to play them. Like you said, they're underprepared. The funny thing is, Terry, everything you said literally about us not being better is the reason why we will be better. Conte, full season now, pre-season. Kane's come back and obviously isn't in Manchester and will literally play the whole season instead of half a season like last year. Son's still on fire. Kulusevski looks amazing. Then we've added depth as well, where Chelsea still, obviously Chelsea are a good team. You got to respect them. And I know everything's against us. I think I looked at a stat in the last 7 games against Chelsea, home and away, we've only scored 1 goal and we've drawn 1 game and we've lost 6. So literally by that theory, it has to happen now. And I believe we'll beat them. And I believe I wouldn't say comfortably, but I think we'll beat them 3-1. And I think you're going to see now, and people start to believe that this Tottenham team are as serious as some of the people are making them out to be. I'm not saying we're going to finish second or win the league and this and that. No way. We're definitely finishing in the top 4 comfortably. I may add at least 3rd. And you're going to see Son, Kane, Kulusevski literally tear that Chelsea team to shreds. Koulibaly, you're going to see the guy should have moved to the Prem about 3 or 4 years ago. Firepower, you're going to see that Sterling doesn't have the same. Basically, the same. Essentially, look at me. You're literally going to see that Man City. Sterling's not at Man City anymore, and Mason Mount, Ziyech, Pulisic, and all of those other guys are not going to give him exactly what he needs. So yeah, I think you're going to see the difference between Tottenham and Chelsea on Sunday. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to come back here next week and tell everyone I told you so.
Oh, Patrick.
I
Oh,
can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. I can't wait. You clip this all you want, man.
You did this last year. Patrick, I sat opposite you. You did the same thing, and Ronaldo finished you. Granted, you got top 4, but I'm just saying, for that weekend or that week even, it was like, Patrick, why?
You know what? If he's gonna go out, you may as well just fall in the squad, But as in, listen. Spurs are coming to the bridge, and as per usual, for 29 out of the last 30 years, they're not leaving with anything. Do
you believe that, Roy? Do you really believe that?
Yeah, we're beating you this weekend.
Right now, you believe that, yeah?
Yeah, let me tell you why we're beating you. Firstly, because it's at the bridge. Secondly, like Hussam said with Arsenal, there's no game that I know that I'm getting 3 points from more than Spurs. I know that if I'm going to your ground or you're coming to the bridge, I know it's 3 points and keep it stepping. And it's going to be the exact same thing this weekend. You're talking about your attack's going to rip our defense to shreds.
Facts.
Disagree. I think Tuchel will have our defense patterned. Even with the meetings he's had with Conte since he came to Tottenham, he's had his number. He's beaten them every time with a clean sheet, pretty easy there at the office and all the games. And I personally think, whilst you know what, our firepower isn't fantastic, I'll be the first person to say that. However, in Chelsea versus Spurs at home, the firepower will find a way to come through. It will find a way to score, and it will find a way to win. And that's exactly what's going to happen, man.
You got to remember as well, last time when you played us, it was literally Conte just starting. We had Doherty playing left wing back, by the way. We had Harry Winks playing in midfield. It was an atrocious team. We had no Romero. Literally now we're at full strength and we've got good depth as well. I do see us beating you lot. And yeah, people are going to see. It's never going to be a battering in a North London derby away from home, but you will see the levels to the two teams, and you'll see that Tottenham right now in a much better place than Chelsea, and we literally will wipe the floor with you. Our attack are just going to cause you too much.
Hold on. You just said you're going to wipe the floor with us.
Yeah,
2 minutes ago you're saying,
in terms of the actual end result, in terms of the actual patterns of play, in terms of the actual what happens in the game, you're going to see the difference in the two teams, definitely.
Okay, so what's the excuse going to be when you inevitably leave with nothing then?
There will be no excuses because that's not happening. I can clearly say that right now. I'm that confident. There's no excuses.
So you're leaving with something?
Yeah, we're leaving with something, at least a draw. And I'll be disappointed if we get a draw.
You're leaving there with something.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. I was going to say Spurs. I was going to agree with everything Patrick just said, but the way Roy put it with the Liverpool and Arsenal thing, I'm kind of questioning myself now. Like,
3 points every time, man.
Yeah, it's just mad because I don't know if Patrick is giving me that Arsenal Liverpool energy right now where like, oh, this time it's different. We're going to come to Anfield and do this and then they get slapped anyway. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to stick with my gut in it. If the reverse happens, it just happens.
I think what's interesting for me is these are the very, very tests for me, whether this Spurs team are changing. And I know it's very early on in the season, but these are the grounds which just historically Spurs don't win at. Last year, like Spurs, like in that run at the end of the season, away at you've beaten Man United at Old Trafford a few times since Fergie left. There's no doubt, but you come to Old Trafford last year with Antonio Conte. We were on our knees with Rangnick, not working hard, and we actually battered you. Like I know you scored 2 goals. That's
no, you didn't batter us. We were unlucky.
When you watch that game back, we were the better team. The problem you have with Man United, but listen. Let me just finish my sentence. This is why you were so bad on that day. Norwich were able to carve through us when we played them, right? You weren't doing anything special to score those goals. Everybody was carving through us, and you still couldn't beat us. That's an L. Like we were standing there on one leg, one hand behind our back, and we knocked you out. It's an embarrassment. Do you know what I mean? It's like Amir Khan knocking out Anthony Joshua. Like that's how bad it was for you. My point is though, this is where Spurs show me and start to convince me they are 100% different. You go to Stamford Bridge when things aren't right, and you get the job done. You go there and walk away. I remember Arsenal a few years ago. I remember Diego Costa was still at Chelsea. I don't remember the year. It might have been the year that Jose ended up being sacked after they were title contenders. They won the title and then he had that bad start and ended up being sacked. And Chelsea lost their opening game of the season. Their second game, they looked poor. Arsenal came along to Stamford Bridge and Gooner started well. This is our chance to go to Stamford Bridge and beat them. And they got beat 2-0. I think Gabriel, that's where there was a different Gabriel at the time, got sent off, I think, for like hitting Diego Costa. That's when Chelsea against the Spurs proved to me that they've become a better team. When they go to Stamford Bridge this Sunday and say, I am, and they get the result. Not lead for 80 minutes and then draw, not, bottle it on the day and blame referees. I'm talking turn up and actually beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
And the thing is, like, this narrative is kind of tired now because last season we literally did that in pretty much every game back end of the season, hence why we finished 4th. So I think people need to give us a bit more respect. We will go to Chelsea and we will get something out of that game.
I think Patrick.
So it's a bit crazy. Like,
go on, Patrick.
No, I'm just saying. I just think it's a bit crazy, and I think people need to actually respect what's going on at Tottenham at the moment. Again, we've got Conte, we've got a really good team, we've got people at the peak of their powers. Kulusevski, as you can see, has come in and hit the ground running. Have you ever seen a better debut from someone in the Premier League at that age? I doubt it. So yeah, I think that
Wayne Rooney.
Okay, from a foreign player coming in.
Listen, Patrick, your role in the Premier League is to collect as many points as you can and give 6 points to Chelsea in your 38 games.
That's not happening, bro. Okay, it's all well and good.
You get as many points as you can. You hand us 6 and you carry on with your season.
Okay, all right.
Nice one. Exactly
I'm not gonna lie. I'm backing Patrick on this one. I think Spurs win the game. I think Spurs.
It's gonna be so funny when they don't, and you guys are gonna be digging.
No, but you ain't gonna say shit to me. I don't support Spurs. I'm just making a prediction. You get me. So
I'll call you out on Football Wars, bro. Don't think you can.
Leave me alone. I already have enough shit to worry about. So Spurs, I think, are gonna go to the bridge. First of all, honestly, like I'm saying this, no banter, Roy. Genuinely, just being honest right now, I hate watching Chelsea play football. Like I actually cannot stand it. And when you do stuff like YouTube and stuff, you've got to watch Chelsea for more than 10 games, so you know exactly what you're talking about. And when it comes to the Chelsea situation, like with Spurs, it's just like Tuchel, Conte. This is either gonna like shock everyone and be like an incredible game where like someone wins 4-3 or some shit, or it's gonna be 0-0 and it's just gonna be boring as hell. One of that type of stuff. But I think Spurs are gonna turn up on the day, and I think Spurs are gonna win. I predict Spurs to win maybe 2-0, something like that, and I think Spurs will be the better team.
Evidence is there.
Roy, calm down. I think Spurs will be the better team, and I think they will win on the day. I think Spurs got the best forward line in the league, in my opinion, the best, better than anyone else. And I think they are going to win this game, and this is gonna put them in a great position for when they finish 3rd at the end of the season, because their competition for 4th and 3rd is Chelsea. So this is gonna be a massive game for them already as soon as the season starts.
It's a really good litmus test. I'm excited. It's a tough game, but I do think we'll win. And like Sam said, it'll be a 2-goal margin. I'm going 3-1, like I said previously.
I want to ask Patrick a question. You don't feel like you get enough respect as a club?
Big screen and that. Yeah, no, I just think that it's an easy narrative. Spursy this, Spursy that, rare to but if you look. Go away, man.
You played yourself.
Tell us your story.
Speak, Patrick, speak. It's better with the background.
Yeah, you want to hear from you, Patrick, man.
Now, basically, what I'm trying to say, if I can hear myself think, is that you lot know what I was gonna say and what I'm saying. But yeah, let's just go there, get the job done, and then I can hear another story. I'll see another thing twisted into the tale and blah blah blah. But I can't wait, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually excited, not nervous this time around, excited, and I can't wait. Roy, just make sure you're booked in. Man. Roy, make sure you got your evens free next weekend. I don't want to hear no excuses of why you can't be on TFT. Yeah, clear your diary now.
I'm about, bro. Don't worry.
Cool. Clear that calendar right now.
He just called you out. You better be there, Roy.
Make sure you're here next week.
I'm here, bro. I'm here, bro. When you inevitably don't get that called out in 30 years, I'll be here, man.
Cool.
Sam, you're lucky that you're not catching any smoke, because I heard your breakdowns on Twitter over Liverpool. You're lucky we've just skated over Liverpool. We've not said nothing. I heard
Colleen, you see.
I heard the breakdowns live.
I have seen the spaces.
Listen, you see these things like down below on the screen. Chelsea versus Spurs, panic buys, Man United to bounce, the Young PICKS, gakpo choice. I don't see Liverpool anywhere. I'm happy to talk about my club, but
why Liverpool not in for De Jong? That's the real question.
Yeah, you need a midfielder.
Look at this Roy guy, how fast he turned on me. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. See, I thought we were a team, Roy. I thought we were a team. Immediately
I love
turned
you,
on me.
Roy,
As
man.
soon as he had the
Oh,
opportunity.
you know what? To be fair, they just signed Harvey Elliott on a new deal, so they're good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Isn't it?
It's true.
Neeks, let me explain
it's
something to you.
sorted.
See, the reason why you and the host specifically, you cannot see, because in 2 weeks we're gonna play you, and if we pull up with Curtis Jones and Harvey and the cafeteria lady in midfield, we're still winning.
You'll
that game.
lose. You'll get
So don't even
Not
try,
Conway
because see
masterclass.
this karma stuff, it comes back to bite you. You get me? So you
If
know
you
that for
pull up
fact.
with Harvey Jones and Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, McTominay is gonna have a masterclass.
Okay, Neeks, last season when we won 5-0, can you tell the people the Liverpool midfield?
Could not care.
Curtis Jones, James Milner, Jordan Henderson.
James Milner's
We
a
won
boss.
5-0.
James
So where
Milner's
do
a
we go
boss.
from here?
James Miller's a
Listen.
boss. I said Harvey Elliott. Bring back Harvey Elliott. We would have won that game 5-0.
Listen, there's two things I know for a fact. We're beating United home and away this season. We're beating Arsenal home and away this season. The rest is all I don't know. But those two things I'm 100% sure of.
Damn.
You get me?
No
100%. 12
didn't
points
see
in
you.
the bag.
We
No
didn't
one can
speak-
ever talk about my club like that. Man says 6 points at Chelsea. No way. No one can ever talk about my club.
Well,
They
Patrick,
can't say shit back. bro.
Patrick, you did, because if they're going to batter you at Stamford Bridge, they're clearly going to batter you at the stadium with no name.
Patrick doesn't even remember the last time they beat us at their ground, man.
Yeah, I do. What are you talking about? It wasn't that long ago when
Patrick
I was
was
there.
good.
I was actually there when
15,
Dele Alli got the
16.
two. Yeah, with Dele Alli got the 2 headers and we beat you 2-0. So like at least
Okay, so it
wasn't
was
that-
8
what-
years ago. Okay.
Still, I remember. You said I
That
could
was in uni
remember.
back
I
then.
remembered.
You know, it was an
There you go.
exaggerated statement.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair enough. Obviously, Liverpool need to bounce back with a win this weekend, though, Hassan, because it wasn't. a
Wow,
good
you
start.
actually switched to Liverpool. Wow. So all that needs to happen on this show is for Colleen to say something, and boom, you just switch it immediately. That's all that
She's
needs
a
to
real
happen.
boss. She's a real boss of the football team.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean,
it was that easy.
Who you got this week? You're at home, obviously. Who you got?
We've got Crystal Palace.
Easy
Oh
win.
no,
Oh, that's the Monday night fixture, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
they've got a good
Good game.
midfield, bro. So you ready for it?
Can you guys hear me? I think I'm getting
Yeah.
disconnected. Hello?
No, we can hear you.
No, you're not getting disconnected. Good cop out.
Nah, look, I think with Palace at home, I think we're gonna win that game. But listen, the worry for me is not a game by game basis. The worry for me is the big picture. I've always been a big picture person, and I don't see us winning this league title without signing a midfielder. That does not mean we're gonna drop anywhere below second. I know that second spot got our name written all over it. So, look, I'm not confident in us winning this league title. And come September 2nd, Liverpool don't sign a midfielder. I'm literally gonna put a video out called "Congratulations, Manchester City." I'm giving up before it started because I know it ain't gonna happen. It's like watching Home Alone. I said this before. It's like watching Home Alone for the 10th time and expecting the villains to catch Kevin McAllister. It's not gonna happen. Like Kevin is gonna win the thing against the villains. It's just it's not like not having faith or anything or like whatever. But I just think when you've seen the same movie over and over and over again, and I said this after the Fulham game. The Fulham game was not about Liverpool 2, Fulham 2, because that's just one game. You get 1 point. It's not the end of the world. It was bigger than that. It was watching Fulham was like watching Brighton from last season, was like watching Brentford from last season. When Liverpool take the lead or when Liverpool are in the lead, it's like a game of ping pong. You attack me, I attack you. You attack me, I attack you. And that's due to that one position, which is a glaring weakness, which the club, which could be Klopp, John Henry, whoever, not interested in that debate. You know, the club are refusing to address. And there are options in the market. There are options on a budget. There are expensive options. There's people up for sale. Milinkovic-Savic, we spoke about him earlier on the show. He improves us as well. So there's so many options. And then you've got Klopp's persistence of playing Henderson in the 8. I look, it's going to be a long season, man. It's going to be a long season. Usually when I call stuff about my club, you know, it usually comes through. I hope I'm wrong.
You need to be careful. You do need to be careful, though, because obviously certain Liverpool fans don't like you speaking like that, and communist Merseyside will, whack you. You're a horse's head in your bed. Be very, very careful. Speaking of things changing in movies, every time I watch Rocky 4, I keep screaming for that towel to get thrown in so that Apollo Creed don't die. And I always have 1% hope every time. time something different happened, I didn't do it this time. Before we move on to Man United's game, Man City, of course, play Bournemouth 1-16 on. It's crazy their odds. Haaland brace, Haaland hat trick, Haaland 4 goals. How many goals is Haaland scoring this weekend against
Listen, to all the
Zero.
viewers, I'm giving you ample warning to all the viewers. If you play FPL like a lot of you do, this is the week to captain Haaland. He's stat pad sesh to the max. He's getting
captaining Kane. I'm captaining Kane this weekend. Honestly, Captain Kane, he's going to cook you lot at Stamford Bridge.
Well, then you're a donut catcher because there's no way.
You shouldn't even have Kane in your team.
Patrick, don't be delusional.
I've got Kane. I've got Haaland. I've got Son as well.
You ain't got Salah?
No, I ain't got Salah. Nah. I ain't got Salah. It's too expensive, man. So yeah, someone had to take a hit.
He gets you the most points.
Haaland against Bournemouth. And I was going to say it's a home or away, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's
a
home.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you have to be wary about when it comes to Man City players, whether it's FPL just predict how they're going to score, especially with 5 subs, is that they're going to get subbed early. Like, it's going to be like 3-0 up, get him off 65 minutes. You're like, flipping out, I lost my bonus points. But he'll have 2 goals by then. I think he'll have 1 goal. I think he'll score 1.
Yeah, Kane plays the whole game.
Off. The reason why I say 1 is because exactly what Nick said. I think he just sub him off. It's just what Pep does.
I think he'll score. I'm going for an hat-trick for him this week. I think that he's gonna. I stand by what I say. Barring injury, he's gonna break Mo Salah's goal scoring record this season. And it's these games. Barring injury, like these. It's not really. If he breaks his leg this weekend and he misses 6 months,
then I was right. Darwin Núñez will get more goals.
Yeah, I just think but these are the games. Listen, he's going to score against big teams. I'm not saying he's a flat track bully, but what he will do because of these are the games where he's just going to, and it's one of those things where it could be like he gets two or three goals in the last 10 minutes of the game when they're already 2-0 up. These are the kind of games where he is just going to bang these goals in. So if you do play fantasy league, then if you ain't got Haaland in your team this weekend, you ain't captain him, I think you're mad. And listen, Kane might score. Kane's very good. Kane would be in most of my FPL teams. I always pick Harry Kane because I like him. But that's that.
Kane hat-trick.
Just get both like I've done. Then you're winning.
Kane hat-trick is not happening.
Yeah.
Please do not believe that delusion.
No, Kane's not getting a hat-trick. He's not. But what I'm trying to say is Kane will score and play the whole game. Where like Neeks is saying.
So why are you captaining him then if he ain't gonna get a hat-trick? Captain Haaland instead.
Nah.
Haaland's gonna score more points than him.
I don't want to jinx it.
100%. Plus, Bournemouth ain't gonna score anyway, so he's gonna get that clean shit bonus.
So strikers don't get it, do they? Only midfielders and defenders.
Yeah, midfielder get an extra point.
Yeah,
I'm great at fantasy, as you guys can see.
I know. I've got a comment here that says, Terry, when can we do a top 6 type show where viewers and fans can come on and discuss their perspectives? When we do a call-in show most mornings, and after every single top 6 team plays, we share the link for you guys to call in. So we do on average about 10 to 11 of those shows per week. Best thing to do is be part of the notification group chat and never miss when we go live again. But it's morning shows we do that in. We don't do very many evening shows with it, but we've got some stuff in the pipeline to add that to it. So that's generally when we do it. But hit up KJ if you want to come on to a show and let us know. A few people have DM'd me saying they want to jump into this show. We don't take calls on the top 6 show, but there are others that are out there. Some more super chats here. First, thank you to Lilo for becoming an official member of the Terrace. Thank you. By the way, we're about 400 likes away from me gifting away 50 free memberships tonight. So smash that like button. Rashford is talented, but talent isn't everything, is what DR. Of course, hard work always beats talent. Oral Campbell says Rashford can't win banging in goals or not. Terry, this club has caused me anxiety. Well, don't let the club give you anxiety, my friend. That's like, find something worthwhile to get anxiety over. Not Man United Football Club. Rashford to Arsenal is a good backup for who's JK9?
I don't know, man.
Jesus
is not.
It meant to be Jesus. It meant to be Jesus, I suppose. Yeah. Maybe K in the J. Maybe he meant just J9. And both can play together. Rashford is a good player, but in a bad team. First they killed Pogba, and now Rashford. Wake up. Nabil here says we can argue or disagree or name call, but there is a level of respect for everyone I'm in the saying of an enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's very dangerous because you might find that someone dislikes something you dislike, but they're not a nice person. So be very careful with that weird saying that a bad person probably invented. It's a bit like the funniest thing in the world that's ever been created is how criminals manage to convince people that being a grass is worse than being a criminal. Like the person that invented that concept is a genius. Like imagine that. Like you rob a bank, but you're not as bad a person as the person that tells on you. Whoever created that logic, it honestly should be a bit. Hopefully they're a billionaire because that's amazing. Can I join? Not this show, my friend. We'll get you on a different one. Hussam, you said Arsenal will be in the top 4 on the Gal TV. Oh, you flip flopping.
Please do not lie on my name. Please do not lie on my name. Haven't even been on Igal's show in like forever. Don't lie on my name, please. I never said that shit.
Oh wow, you've been called out. I know what happened, guys. Terry bought into the Arsenal PR documentary. He got aroused. He got aroused watching Arteta's speech.
Aroused, you know.
Yeah, Lee Gunner's having a T-shirt, maybe that doodle on it. He told me, which is great. I agree with Terry, of course. Most sane people do. Football isn't straightforward. Arsenal aren't going to finish in the top 6. Party will surely get injured and meltdown will follow. Thank you, Zane.
You're a smart guy.
If Tottenham ever lose, Patrick is going to have to be hospitalized for smoke inhalation. The gal is going to smoke him like some pan-jerk chicken. Careful with what Jam got. That's actually one of the best super chats I've ever had.
Yeah, that's funny
all
still.
you do is take our lopsided seconds. Villa, Jose, Conte. It's from a Chelsea fan.
That's a Chelsea fan. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday, my friend.
Winter Surfer here says it's funny Spurs fans always ask for respect for doing nothing. Why do you do something first and then get respect?
It's so true. It's so true.
What do you It's so true. Everyone was big and no, stop, chill. No. This is wild. Everyone was big on Arsenal last year. They're definitely getting top 4. This Arsenal team, it's a new Arsenal, this, that, rare, tear. We got top 4 over them. Absolutely slam dunk them, most of them. No, but we've typically Tottenham have been a better team than Arsenal for a long time now.
Listen,
6 years.
I've got Spurs finishing above Arsenal. I've got Spurs actually in 3rd, but
all right, chill, stop that. But yeah, man, like.
But you know the thing is, I got nothing against Spurs, and that's mainly because Spurs don't do much. Like I got nothing to worry about. So you're like your friend, your little cousin. Oh, nice to go to the park. You're cool. But recently, Spurs fans have been talking too much, and I'm just like, where? Like you're making. I think you're trying to make me dislike you. You want to be disliked, so you say stuff that you shouldn't be saying. Arsenal fans shouldn't be saying much, but I get why they say it because they've actually won stuff in recent memory. They've done stuff that they can actually revert back to.
What have they won?
Exactly, has been.
What have they won?
What have they won?
What have they won?
No, I'm saying it's in their memory. They can remember when it happened. Patrick cannot remember anything other than.
They can't remember what happened 20 years ago. You can't remember.
Come on.
I mean, I can. So I'm saying Arsenal fans who are there or thereabouts.
You're old, in it, so it's not the rest of the people.
Like Arsenal last won a trophy 20 years ago. Let's relax.
No, forget.
Last time you won an important trophy was 20 years ago.
Well, listen, one of those important trophies saved your season last year before you guys were going to have a meltdown. So
no, I'm talking about the Premier. I had a meltdown regardless. I wanted us to win the
Premier. You had a meltdown anyway.
The measure of big clubs, successful clubs, is the Prem and the Champs, not FA Cups and Carabao Cups.
So you've only been a big club for what? If that
we've been a big club ever since existence. 19-time league champions,
but by
6-time Champions League winners. Thank you so much.
You only rise once every 30 years. I agree.
Arsenal went 41 years without a league title once.
I'm just using your maths.
Yeah, and I'm using maths as well. Arsenal went 41 years without a league title.
There, babe. Sorry.
40. You know, it's very interesting. You know, you're talking about history and stuff. Out of the 13 league titles Arsenal have, 5 of them were in the 1930s. find that interesting when an Arsenal fan criticizes history. So 7 of them were post the World Wars and stuff, which I find mad. So you never had an era of dominance. You've never won a Champions League, never won a European Cup as well, even when you were good back then. Never won. You've never won back-to-back league titles.
It's right from the Prem being one of the big ones to be a big club, and I was using your maths, and I said, "Oh, it's only 1 in 30. So when have you become a big club then?" And now we're bringing out the. Big
I never said Arsenal are not a big club.
Want a trophy here, you want a trophy there. I mean,
okay, but I said Arsenal are not a big club. I never said Arsenal are not a big club. Arsenal are a big club, but they ain't won shit in 20 years. So my point was, when Neeks says, they've won stuff recently.
Incorrect.
Listen.
You're just choosing.
Colleen, when you're a big club, you have to win league titles and Champions Leagues.
Listen, we're scrimping right now. We're scrimping right now. Every trophy counts.
Okay, I hear you.
Thank God my club's not there, man.
Colleen, why so hyped today? Listen, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, it's the cherry on top of the cake. The cake is the Prem or the Champs. The FA Cup or the Carabao Cup is just the cherry. If I just give you a plate of cherries, you ain't gonna be happy. You're like, where's my cake? So you ain't had cake in 20 years. So that's why it's different.
Back to the original point was that Arsenal have won stuff in recent years. The original point was around Neeks and Tottenham.
Yeah,
but Spurs have finished above
sum all that up. Spurs fans, don't chat to me, innit? Like,
do Spurs fans chat to you though, Neeks? Are Spurs fans chatting to you? I don't see
in the group chat. I had to say, listen.
Thank you. You always do this, GR. Terry. Go ahead.
Man United need to stay out of Spurs fans' mouths. And I'm gonna be honest, you can't chat to Chelsea either. You can't. You can't.
But this is when the Spurs fans chatting to all these teams. I don't see it. We're just we're humble. We're going about our business, and we're just doing things. We're not talking to anyone. We're humble guys, going about our business the right way. That's all we're doing.
Neeks, the problem is everything you're saying actually applies to Arsenal more. Terry, can you please put up the super chat again with the Arsenal stuff? I beg you, Terry. See, I'm saying this right here, right now. The whole Arsenal Liverpool stuff. The week before we play Arsenal. Terry, get me on this show and get 4 Arsenal fans here. I just want by myself, because see these people, they do the same shit every single year. Oh, this time it's different. This time we ain't got Koscielny. We got Socrates. This time we ain't got Socrates. We got this guy. 4-0, Oxlade-Chamberlain, right center midfield. See, they played, that documentary, incredible. They played You'll Never Walk Alone in the background and still got smacked 4-0. Takumi Minamino, came on with his first touch, scored a goal. 2 years ago, Daniel Sturridge scored a goal with his first touch. This is the thing with this Arsenal stuff. See, Arsenal is just like this. Arsenal are like a mosquito. If Spurs are like little brother, Arsenal is a mosquito. It just keeps biting you and then goes away. But all you have to do is just slap the mosquito and it's dead. Boom. See, I cannot wait.
I'm glad you enjoy.
Cannot wait.
5 years of dominance over it. I'm glad.
Colleen, last time you won a league title, you were about 2 years old, so you can't remember shit anyway. I remember my league title. I remember my Champions League because I was an adult, so I'm good.
Listen, I don't know how we got here, and I'm not sure why Hassam has an agenda, and I'm going to call it an agenda at this point, and a hatred for us. But it's cool. Don't worry.
No agendas. I love Arsenal. I have no agendas against Arsenal.
Gareth here says that Spurs' only trophy, finishing above Arsenal. Pathetic. GR here says Darwin had the best goals to minute ratio in Europe last year. People hate on him because he plays for Liverpool. That's it. We are massive.
Is that true? I
thought it would be Haaland because he was scoring.
No, it is him. Oh, he has the best goal to.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Yeah, fantastic. Ola here says, Terry, listen, United need to win this weekend. Otherwise, they end up losing the first 3 games. Eric Ten Hag will be facing the sack in September. Neeks, will Man United bounce back this weekend, or do you see another? I mean, a draw is a defeat for Man United anyway to teams like this. Do you see another defeat happening this weekend?
Yeah, I do see. I do see another defeat happening this weekend. There's just nothing's happened in the week since Brighton to change the mood around the club. Nothing's. If anything, no, that's not even true. we've gone backwards. The mood has gone backwards. We were losing to Brighton, or at least the match was going on, and that's when the links to Arnautovic first happened. I think it was actually 0-0 when the links to Arnautovic first happened, and we're like, what the hell is going on? And then we go 1-0 down, and it just got worse and worse. Then we actually put in a bid for Arnautovic. Then our bid got rejected by Arnautovic. And then we're getting linked to Rabiot. Now, Rabiot is not a bad player, but in the midst of everything that's happening with the De Jong, with the transfer window in total, Rabiot's not going to appease anyone. And when you consider the baggage that he comes with, it's, as I said, the mood around the club has just got worse. We're no clearer on the Ronaldo situation in terms of whether he's going to be here or not. Obviously, as the days go by, looks more and more that he will be here. And now we get the talk about Rashford going to PSG potentially. So it's like, I mean, is Martial back? Who's starting on the weekend? Like, there's so much things that are unresolved, and we haven't even started to talk about the midfield yet. There's so many things that's unresolved that how can we go into this game with any kind of clarity, any kind of confidence on the back of Brighton coming back from 2-0 down to beat Leicester? Honestly, I can't see us winning. I'm not saying we're going to lose, but we could lose, but I can't see. I can't picture how do we win this game? I'm not saying we ain't got the players to win the game, but we're just not in the position to be beating anyone right now, unless we play Liverpool.
Excuse me, did I hear that correctly? We beat 9-0.
Who's turning my mic up? What's going on here?
No, I agree with you. I don't see a win this weekend. Maybe a draw if we're lucky, but yeah, I think it's going to be enough. I just think it's going to be another painful weekend. Then we play Liverpool, another painful weekend. The start to Ten Hag's reign, I think, is going to be awful in terms of results for the club and the direction that we're going in. And as you say, like we can't even get Rabiot done quickly. Like that's the bit that's so frustrating. Yes, he's asking for, I think it's 7-8 million, like he's earning now. He was never going to take a pay cut to come here, not with his mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. I don't even mean it rudely. Like, I don't know. Like,
she's on smoke.
She is. She was never going to go, oh yeah, we'll come play for you for 50 grand a week. It was always going to be match his wages, and we spent a week. It's almost like even a player like, yeah, I'll join. Like a club that wanted to give him away for free, we've agreed a fee with. At least if he was here, oh well, at least we've got something new to see. But I think the telling point is going to be the starting lineup. If McFred is starting, if Rashford's starting, if Maguire, like these certain names, once they're there, the fans are going to go. The pressure is going to build up. Yeah, it's anyone seeing Man United win?
Oh, sorry, I was going to say quickly before you go to predictions is that midfield cannot start. It cannot start. I give 10 on. Listen, I give him one game, and that was the game. You know now what we all been knowing for 2 years at least. You now know that based on that one game, you know that Fred and McTominay cannot start in the midfield together. They can just about start by themselves with obviously someone else around them, let alone together. So I'll give him that one game. It can't happen again. We could win that game 5-0 with McTominay and Fred. It can't happen because it's not sustainable.
So who starts in midfield for you then, Neeks?
Anyone other than the both of them together. So
Sam and Patrick.
You can put Ericsson in there with no. Relax. You two are double agents. Not a double agents, just agents, isn't it? But it has to be for me, Fred and Ericsson, Fred and Van der Beek. One of Ericsson and Van der Beek have to start in the midfield. And then you sort out the attack after.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving this. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen. 2022. If I spoke to Terry 10 years ago, or I knew him, or I wish I could just get all my childhood friends into the stream right now. All the United fans who are just absolutely obnoxious their whole lifetime. You get me? This is so beautiful. A Manchester United fan is not confident of beating Brentford. If this isn't a thing of beauty, then I don't know what is a thing of beauty. This is absolutely wonderful. And I agree with them. I think Brentford are going to beat Manchester United. It's their first home game of the season. I genuinely feel like, and this, I'm not taking shots at said club that I'm going to use as an example. It's just the example available. I think United are going to have the Arsenal start of last year, where they're going to lose their first 3 games. I think, and the result of the third game is going to be the same, 5-0. I think this game, I genuinely see United losing it. And when it comes to this Ten Hag stuff and the McTominay and Fred stuff, I agree with Neeks, and I said it sort of when I spoke to the many United fans I know. I said like they would have rather preferred literally seeing Charlie Savage just to see something new, something fresh, whatever it is, just something new. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Who cares? My thing is, I just don't think United have got what it takes at this point in time to win that game, unless it's like Ronaldo just turns up out of nowhere and wins them the game. Maybe like that's the only way I genuinely see it happening, because Ronaldo does have like 6 or 7 moments, even at his age, in a season where he can win you a game, you know, like what he did against Spurs last year, etc. Like he's got that in him. He's got that in him. But like, honestly speaking, I just don't see it happening. Like it's just I cannot look at this game and go like United are gonna win. I think United draw. Maximum is what
that's what I was going to say. They're not gonna lose the game, but they won't win it. It'll be a draw. It'll be a draw. Brentford is a tricky. They're losing. You're saying?
Yeah, United 100%.
I think they're losing.
Wow,
it's very obvious. Let me tell you how they'll lose it. Firstly, I think Ten Hag will start McFred again, and I look at Brentford's midfield and I see a bigger physical presence. I see better technical players, and I see a midfield that wins a midfield battle. And then I look at your defense. I see a centre back who is the same size as me, and I look at Brentford's forward line, and I see Ivan Toney, and I think it's a mismatch. It's a complete and utter mismatch. I think Toney leads with 2 goals. I think Brentford win 2-0, and I think your attack doesn't get any change out of the Brentford defense. It's really that simple. United will lose this game, 100%.
Can I just say quickly before you come in, Colleen? Can I just say quickly? The whole defense Martinez thing is like, I get it, funny. Well, it's so overblown. I get it. As I said,
it is massively overblown.
I watched the game today, the full 90 minutes, and the issue wasn't balls into the box, height, strength. It was literally, and I'm not saying everything once this is solved, we're the best team in the world, but it's the midfield. It was Brighton had the freedom of Old Trafford, and when the midfield got the ball, any 3 of them, whether it was the winger, the 2 wingers, or any 3 of those behind Welbeck, I think it was further forward, there was no pressure on the ball. No one closing them down. No one in and around them. They were always in between McFred and the defense. And they were just slipping balls down the channel in between the centre-back and the full-back all day long. There was no issue with balls in the box. Maguire headed anything. Martinez headed anything he could get his head on. But it wasn't a case of he was overpowered. So I get it. It's funny. That was a good one, Roy. But Martinez will be fine. The issue is the midfield. That's what I think anyway. Sorry.
What are you saying, Cole?
I don't think, as much as everything makes sense as to why United should lose, I think it's a very similar feel still from like last season, where even when you do win games, it's either by accident or you've got a player bailing you out. It's just all very haphazard, because by this kind of logic, United will struggle to win any games, and you know that's just not the reality of United.
No,
they are going to pick
against
up
Bournemouth and Fulham.
Pardon?
There's 3 points available against Bournemouth and Fulham. I don't think every game.
Right, okay, yeah, but I mean that they're not gonna, realistically, United are probably gonna finish, in my opinion, maybe what, 6th,
5th or 6th,
somewhere around there. So I think we're going to see, until something changes, or until Ten Hag gets more time with these players, or if he gets the players in that he needs, we're still going to see a lot of last season where it's quite haphazard. You've won a game, but like it's kind of like shit housing it essentially, or someone's come to save the day. And I think that's probably what we'll see against Brentford. As much as I'll be rooting for United to lose, obviously, but I just think we're still going to see the same pattern as last season, because otherwise I'm going to be thinking you shouldn't win any game, really. Not like you. It's just so bad.
Cole, if Man United perform the way we performed the back end of last season, especially after we were knocked out by Atletico, because of the lack of trying, coupled with the lack of quality in specific positions, we were lucky to win a handful of games and grab a few draws. We were that bad, and it's a long, hard road. There's a comment that came out. I've got some super chats to do. There was a comment that came out that I wanted to kind of present to Neeks, where someone says you were simping for Ollie for years, but you only give Ten Hag 1 game. Neeks doesn't mean he's going to give Ten Hag 1 game and want him out. He simply meant it's something you can criticize Ten Hag for, because we know how bad McFred are. In fairness to Ollie, there was a period when he was using McFred, and I think it was about over like an 8-9 month period where we had the best win ratio at the club in Ollie's tenure for like a 10, 15 game period where them two played a lot of games together. So I kind of get Ollie sticking with it, going, well, I've got it working before, I can get it working again. But a year later, when it still isn't working, I'm hoping, I think as Neeks alluded to, that this was almost this is what I'm hoping last week's game was. You guys have told me it was Ralph and Ollie that made you guys bad. I'm going to give you a game. I'm going to give you a game to show me that it wasn't you and it was them. And that's what I'm hoping it is. In terms of who should start this, and there's options, I wouldn't mind seeing Jimmy Garner given a go. You know, everyone's been screaming for Donny to get a game. Like, these things have got to be tested. Let's see. Like, James Garner and Donny van der Beek can't be worse than McFred. They can be as bad, but they can't be worse. Like, it isn't going to go backwards any more than getting battered by Brighton at home. Some super chats here. The first one here from Julius. Thank you very much for the lovely donation. It says Arsenal have an overrated history. They avoided relegation on the expense of Tottenham with a scandal in 1918. One League Cup final, 2 semi-final appearances, horrible European record full of horrible results. A club with no European achievements can't be elite.
Yo, give that man a round of applause. Give that man a round of applause.
Round of applause for Julius.
I hope you guys all got the ego boost that you needed there, because
I got it in spades.
It's a complete lie that Arsenal don't have a history at all.
I don't see anything wrong in that.
Colleen, if you look behind you, you'll see the Bayern crest.
I've got nothing to say. I can't speak
TJ here said regarding McFred, it wasn't about seeing something new. It was about the fact that McFred, specifically Fred, literally
debilitates.
Couldn't read the word. Debilitates the entire team. Ericsson did a better job as the DM. Speaks volumes. Hassan, you are going to get the shock of your life. Liverpool won't beat Man United, not with that rubbish midfield. Fabinho and Elliott.
Hi, Michael. Hope you're having a wonderful day. There's only 2 things guaranteed in this Premier League season, and that is that we're beating Arsenal home and away, and we're beating United home and away. Hope you have a lovely day, regardless of who we play in midfield. It could be the cafeteria lady, and we're still winning.
Ruitenez, you know, Ruitenez. I'm glad it was you. I'm glad it was you that said it, Roy, and nobody else, to be fair.
Yeah, that's a good one still. I love it.
Heard Colleen and Ty cried last season when the old FPL reps retired last year because they couldn't make any more excuses when
I've never made an excuse around the ref ever.
It's because you're strong. Funny how the fans of clubs with no Champions League chat so much is what Nathaniel says.
What does that even mean without the Champions League? We've won it. We've won it 3 times. I can say what I want.
He's talking about Arsenal.
We were not playing Champions League.
Neeks, why are you so insecure? You've got 3. You've got 3.
In fairness, I'd be insecure dressed like a zebra. Do you know what I mean? Man's acting like he's an extra in Madagascar. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be doing it.
Great film.
Arsenal is a great film. Arsenal is still better than Chelsea. Fewer leagues than Burnley, Portsmouth, but before a war criminal.
That's also not true. We've got more leagues than both of them.
But you see how these things work, boys.
No, he's saying before.
The thing is, everything in the Arsenal one was true. We've got more league titles than Burnley. We've got more league titles than Portsmouth.
No, and before you were purchased.
Yeah, but 5 of the Arsenal League titles were in the 1930s.
They were winning titles when Hitler was the audience. Like, allow it.
Low-key Arsenal are on 7 in my eyes.
I will defend Arsenal a bit here. In fairness,
of course you will.
4 of your Champions Leagues were before you were born, so they don't count either, do they?
That's not what I said. Let's not misquote Hussam.
That's what you're implying, though. We don't
Terry, my brother. Terry, my brother.
This is not a court of law. You know,
Terry, my brother. The 1930s football. 1930s football is different than late 70s, early 80s. Late 70s, early 80s was football. The offside rule was in place. The TVs were in color. It's not like there was anything crazy. The Ballon d'Or was awarded. There was still 1930s, like.
Hang on a minute.
Different football.
You were winning Champions Leagues when the pass-back rule existed, and you didn't get yellow cards in the game.
And everyone else could do it. Everyone else could do it.
I'm just saying.
But they still would be able to get caught offside.
I think all history has to be maintained. I don't like this. Are you won stuff in the 30s? Therefore, it's not relevant now. If that's the case, then
I agree.
How many Champions Leagues are we taking away off Real Madrid?
Yeah, you're not taking away anything. All of them count. All of them count.
I do get that. But people, it's been another great show. It's been a damn good show. Hodge Twins. I've been watching a bit of their stuff recently. They're funny. probably going to get cancelled, but they're funny. Make sure you smash the like button before you leave and you subscribe. Colleen, Patrick, Roy, the boy, or Roytinez, as we're calling him now. Sam and Neeks, thank you all very much for coming on. To my super chatters, thank you. To the subscribers, thank you. We're back tomorrow with more content for you. Member content out later on this evening as well, the first head-to-head debate. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.